All right, how we doing, everybody? I'm Andy Malfrina. This is Drag the Lake. We're doing an album review for the new album by 4 Year Strong, Analysis Paralysis. It just came out the other day, and I do want to let you guys know I have been TikToking a little bit. So if you want to see sort of like my quick take on these albums before I get time to actually record a review, a long form review and stuff, Andy Malafrina 69, I think is my TikTok, because I'm hilarious. You know. You know the sign of a really funny guy is they put 69 after their fucking name. I shouldn't talk shit. I can change it. I won't. That is the TikTok. Andy Malafrina 69, because I'm a very funny person. But let's talk about this. On the DTL R&R channel, where I do a bunch of short form reaction videos, you can check that out if that's your fucking vibe. Also, just basically the DTL R&R channel is I put copywritten music up there. That's what it's for, because I like doing those videos, but I want to monetize this channel, so let's keep those separate. But yeah, I was talking a bunch about 4 Year Strong on the lead up to this album, and I was getting very excited for it because I've mentioned this a lot of times over there before, but I'm one of those grumpy older people who was locked in on Rise or Die Trying and Enemy of the World, and then when they weren't doing that, I'm just sitting there with my arms folded. And I will say, I try not to be a grumpy fuck like that. But I will say there was some validity because, they kind of got you in on like, yeah, we're pop punk, but we're a little bit metalcore doing these breakdowns and shit like that. We're a little bit hardcore and stuff like that. And then they just kind of like, they were kind of like, yeah, we're not really going to play breakdowns. So that was heartbreaking. So I fell off a little bit on 4 Year Strong. Probably said some nasty things that I regret now because I love this band. They're one of my favorite bands. I love them. I love seeing them thrive, and that's what they're doing on this album. So if you've been like me and you've been out on a 4 Year Strong for a while, they're thriving right now. So it's a good time to get in on 4 Year Strong. It's a good time to reinvest in 4 Year Strong because I think this album, because like I fell off, but I've still listened to all their other albums. Nowhere near as much, or like Rise or Die and Enemy of the World. Nowhere near as much as that, but I still listen to all the albums. And, I think on this one, for grumpy fucks like me, this is definitely the one to get back into on them. Because on the last one, they were sort of coming back around to playing like breakdowns and stuff like that. But it wasn't quite what you wanted from them if you were like sort of locked in on the earlier shit. And I think this album is a really good sort of, because how many albums have they had? I got to double check that. I was talking about that in my TikTok, Andy Malfrina 69. Very creative. Yeah, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I know they had one before that, but they seem ashamed of it, so it's not up here. So it's like 7 albums. And honestly, that's a good sort of... Actually, I didn't even count the albums before I had this thought, but if there's 7 albums, because yeah, it was like Rise or Die Trying is where they sort of established that song that sound that got them beloved, Enemy of the World, and then in some way, shape, or form, not so much, but if you take later albums, because I know on their self-titled and a little bit on Brain Pain, they were kind of going back to the old formula here and there, but definitely with the later era of 4 Year Strong, they were going in a much different direction. It's like they wrote that Explains It All album, and then that really sort of influenced their sound from then on there. But this album right here is it's good for everyone who's ever even liked any aspect of 4 Year Strong, because this album, they've been around... Wait, this one is 2024. Yeah, obviously this one's 2024. What am I saying? This one's 2024, and then Rise or Die Trying came out. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, '07. Okay, so what's that? 17. So it's a decade plus 7 years. So, okay, they've been around for almost 2 decades. So they've been around for a while, and your sound's going to evolve over that time. So that's completely fair. But they've been around for a while. They've definitely executed a lot of different sort of stylistic choices on each album and stuff. And for a band that's been around this long, well, actually, they've probably been around for 2 decades if you count sort of, because they did release a decent amount of shit before Rise or Die Trying, but they are one of those bands kind of a la, I think the Wonder Years do it. I think they sort of have brought back the old music, but there was a time period where the Wonder Years was just like, yeah, dude, let's just let's just forget that we made music before the Upsides, which I always like. I get it, like a band evolves and they sort of want to do that, but you know, it's like, I don't know. I get it too. If you saw some of my old videos when I was in my 20s, I'd just be like, please, let's pretend none of those fucking existed. So I completely get a band having that feeling, but yeah, regardless, let's back to this album. Oh no, I get a band having that feeling, but still, it's like, you know, just embrace it. Just embrace it. We all like different aspects of the shit. We obviously, especially with the Wonder Years, it's like, you know, you've come to this mature sound and we all love it. But, you know, embrace, like, what was it, like, Don't Get Fruit Punched or whatever the fuck it was? Where they just had songs about the Kool-Aid Man and shitting on Buzz Aldrin. Dude, it was just a fun time. Just, you know, let it happen, man. But anyway, back to the 4 Year Strong album. This album is very cool because, you know, they've probably had about 2 decades of making music, and, you know, they're all older, they're all a little bit more mature, but they all, you know, you still want to be true to like what you are as a band. And I think this is sort of the like best representation of let's give you a little slice of fucking everything. That's what I love the most about the last Every Time I Die release. Radical, they did the same thing, and I think it's a thing bands are naturally, just whether it's a conscious decision or not, it's a thing bands are just gonna do. By the time they get, this is the 7th album. Radical was like Every Time I Die's 9th album. I don't know how many fucking albums the Wonder Years are on, but it's a natural thing bands are gonna get to at this point in their career. But to do that, and to do it the way 4 Year Strong is doing, while still kind of sounding new and fresh. Like, I always liked them because they never there were some bands, I always loved New Found Glory, but one of my problems with New Found Glory, the later they got in their career, is they sort of let the current thing really affect their sound, which was always ironic because it was like, you inspired all these bands that now you're letting shift your sound and stuff like that. It's not that the music was bad. It was just, it felt like there was a little that old heart in that heart in the original shit that just was missing from this stuff. And you don't have that with 4 Year Strong on this album. You still feel, and that, dude, I you know, I've been in bands in high school and college and stuff like that, but I don't know what it's like to be like a popular touring band that's been doing it for like 2 fucking decades. And then it's like your 7th album, and you're going to write the music, and you're still finding a way to make it feel energized and upbeat and a good fucking time. And like that's like, but you know, we can go into all the like little things of the sound and stuff like that, which I will. But just at its core essence of this album, it still it doesn't feel like they're like, all right, it's been a couple years, let's write another album. It still feels like they're coming from a place of passion, which you love to see with a band 2 decades in. And they haven't had like, you know, they haven't had that like meteoric rise. They did pop off, and then they kind of like, they fell off for a little bit, but this feels like a really in my opinion, from my perspective, this feels like a really like rejuvenated version of 4 Year Strong. And that's what I always love to see with this band, because I think they're a very original, they're a very unique original band. So to see them come onto this album, and here we can talk about the music and stuff. Now we can segue into talking about the music. Like, you hear the music on this album, it's got a lot of influences. They definitely, you know, it's 4 Year Strong. They're definitely going to go pop punk and stuff like that. But then there's like clear, overt hardcore influences on this album, with just the stylistic choices of what they're doing, how they're playing the guitars, what they're, you know, the riffs they're laying out, and how the drums are sort of, you know, bringing up the whole band with what the drummer's doing and stuff like that. It's just all coming together to create just a fun, upbeat, original sound, in my opinion. And yeah, it's something you like to hear from a band that's been doing it this long. I had a really fun time listening to it. I got like 4 or 5 or 6 listens in or something like that. So yeah, obviously it's not trying to treat this like a definitive review, just my general feelings on it, on this album that just came out. But yeah, man, music's fun. It has the essence of why you love 4 Year Strong. They do a lot of like cool shit. I like they're a band that can kind of stick to more traditional song structure which is completely fine, but they at the same time will always have things here and there that'll like keep you guessing, and you go like, oh shit, oh fuck, you know, always trying to like reinvent, but always trying to sort of give a nod to why everyone loves them. And it's just a really good album, man. I think if you like pop punk, if you like 4 Year Strong, if you like hardcore, if you like any of that kind of, any of those realms that 4 Year Strong has always been existing in, it's definitely an album you want to go fucking check out. So yeah, 4 Year Strong, Analysis Paralysis, really good fucking album. Please go listen to it. And thank you for watching my channel. I do reviews like this all the time. We put out podcasts. We fucked up this week, but most Mondays, we do a new episode every Monday. Most Mondays, we do an episode every Monday. So look out for that. And then I'm going to be trying to bust out a lot more of these album reviews. So thank you for watching. I love you. Have a good one. Be about it. Peace.